me on this very special Runterview as we discuss your book Run, Walk, Crawl, Getting Fit in Your 40s. I appreciate you taking your time out, and thank you everyone who's watching this. Hopefully you'll get something from our interview today and see some of the beautiful things we get to enjoy as we do our running. Now, I rarely read non-fiction, but when I heard you had written Run, Walk, Crawl, Getting Fit in Your 40s, it really attracted me. I mean, I've just tipped into my 40s myself. I'm training for my first half marathon and sprint triathlon, so it seems something really kind of relevant to me. I enjoyed other pieces of your work, your horror writing. I'm a writer myself. And you've had success in both. You've been writing for a lot longer though than what you've been running. So I'm curious to know what made you decide to write about the chafing and the lycra and the blisters rather than writing about writing.
Yeah, I used to run an exercise website called Run, Walk, Crawl. So the idea of writing about my exercise as opposed to writing a non-fiction book about my writing just seemed a natural thing to do, really. I love, friends and family will all tell you I love talking about my exercise and what I do. So writing about it was the next natural thing. Also, there's not much humour in my horror books. And I wanted to write something with a bit of humour in it. So I hope that's what I did with Run, Walk, Crawl.
Now, throughout your book, you've scattered several race reports, which I found highly amusing, a little bit informative. It's always good to get the experience of others. Now, did you enjoy revisiting those? Did you find it motivating, or was it pure nostalgia?
Visiting those race reports was really interesting, actually. I wrote them all at the time, so some of them are quite a few years old now. I tweaked them to fit in with the book. It was quite revealing, revisiting those times. Made me laugh, made me remember some of the pain. Also taught me a few things, I think, looking back on some of the mistakes I made in earlier races. Some of the mistakes I'm still making now. It was really good fun reading them all again though, and hopefully there'll be quite a few more race reports to come, including this one.
In your book Run, Walk and Crawl, Getting Fit in Your 40s, you talk a lot about the mental health benefits to exercising, achieving goals and staying fit. Over this last year, particularly with COVID, I found a lot of truth in what you've said, and it's really helped me keep my head above the water. Do you think this has influenced your writing, like your productivity, being able to step away from the desk and clear out the cobwebs, or to analyse a problem while you're out on a run free of anything else instead of just looking at a blank screen all the time?
Yeah, the mental health aspect is a really big thing of exercising and training for me. I'm quite lucky enough. I don't sort of suffer from depression or any more sort of anxiety than most people at the moment with COVID and shit going on. But it blows away the cobwebs for me. So if I'm getting ready for a day of work, I'll go out and do some training, and I rarely work when I'm running. I don't often think through things, don't often think through storylines or plot problems, but it does clear my head and it blows away the cobwebs, gets my blood flowing, gets me ready to get stuck into some real work. So yeah, I find the exercise absolutely priceless, really. I couldn't do without it anymore, just definitely not at all. If I go 2 or 3 days without exercising, I'm climbing the walls, literally. So come rain or shine or snow, I'm generally out there. Lucky enough today, no rain, a bit of sunshine, perfect. So this is one of my favourite spots where I live. I run along here very regularly. I swim in this river occasionally, a bit further downstream. Not at the moment though, because it's fucking freezing. This spot actually, I'll start running again, is where my daughter and I, during the first lockdown, we came with a flask of coffee one morning and some toast wrapped up in foil. And we sat here and we saw an otter in the river. We saw a kingfisher. And then just up here, a little way, we saw a fox. And it was one of the most lovely days. So in some ways, lockdown's been a bit enjoyable.
So you're at the starting gates. The adrenaline's pumping, it's coursing through your veins. How do you manage to pace yourself and not go all out?
How do I not go out too fast during a race? How do I pace myself? Truth is, sometimes I'm not very good at it. If you read Run, Walk, Crawl, the account of my first marathon, that was such a horrific experience. I went out far too quick. My plan was 9-minute miles. The first few miles I was running 8-minute miles, which for me was really quick. Some people it isn't. And I really suffered. So, the last 15 miles that was an absolute fest. It was horrific. But you learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes, really. The second marathon, 6 weeks later, I was taking salt tablets, making sure I didn't cramp up, kept to my plan, did a good race. So sometimes it is a bit tempting, you go out too quick, but the more you race, the more you sort of learn to rein it in, really.
Throughout Run, Walk, Crawl, you talk about your love of this challenge and how getting fit is just a side effect. Now, do you think that's the biggest hurdle that people face when trying to get fit, is they're focusing on the wrong aspect of it? That should just be a pleasant side effect of achieving a greater goal.
So in the book, I talk a lot about what my drive was to sort of start exercising and do something like this. And I talk about how through my sort of 30s, when I was trying to exercise to get fit, I always said to my friends and family I needed a big challenge to really push me. And that's what happened at the beginning of my 40s when I did the 3 peaks. I think having a big challenge means you divert the emphasis away from the exercise onto the challenge. So you're not exercising to get fit, you're exercising with an aim in mind, a physical aim to do something. That's what a lot of people don't do, I think. Lots of people run, bike, go to the gym so that they can get fit. Whatever fitness I've got is a byproduct of training for what I love doing, which is triathlon and Ironman and, crazy country runs, which is just glorious. I love doing this stuff so much that getting an element of fitness out of it is, like I say, it's almost a byproduct. I do know lots of people who run twice a week so that they can be fit, and they hate it. I'd run every day if I could because I love it. So I think for some people, finding a challenge and finding, find your own Everest, that saying, find something you want to do. For me, it was something just a little bit beyond my capabilities. And that's something that I keep doing now. So I've done a few Ironmans. I've got a double in mind, maybe for a year or two down the line.
Now, a lot of people don't realise that being a rider actually takes a lot of self-discipline, determination, perseverance, and I find many of the same parallels in running. Do you find that these two skills have been transferable across what you've done, like the same self-discipline you use to train for an Ironman is the same self-discipline you use to sit down every day and push the words out whether you feel like it or not.
So yeah, mental toughness when it comes to, well, writing and racing, perseverance, determination. Honestly, before I started doing stuff like this, I didn't sort of realise I had any level of mental toughness. I still not sure I'd say it now. I mean, I guess I have. I've never started a race and not finished one, and I'm quite proud of that. That'll happen. Everyone gets a DNF at some point, whether it's a physical problem or mechanical or just being knackered. That's never happened to me. So the mental toughness is something that I discovered that I had through training, through racing and training. I think everyone has it to an extent. Sometimes people maybe don't harness it quite how they could, but I think everyone's got the ability to do stuff like this, and everyone's got their own levels of mental toughness that they can dip into and feed from. I talk about it in the book about how focus and determination, and how, for me, the main thing is enjoying what I do. I think I always start a race. There's always a point in a race where I think, what the hell am I doing? And I have to remind myself I'm doing it for fun. And that's what's kept me going. I think the fact that I do it for fun. I'm not chasing a podium. I'm never gonna, win a race or beat Johnny Brownlee. But I love what I do, and loving what you do helps you tap into those reservoirs of sort of mental toughness that you might not even know you've got.
So you celebrated your 50th doing an Ironman in Canada. What plans do you have for your 60th? How are you going to top that?
What am I planning for my 60th? Yeah, so for my 50th, I raced Ironman Canada in Whistler. Built a holiday of a lifetime for my family around it. That was epic. 60th, I don't even know what day my 60th falls on yet. If it happens to fall on a Saturday or Sunday, I like to think I'll do a cheeky little Ironman somewhere in the world. But there's lots of other races on my bucket list. There's a race in Patagonia called Patagon Man. Lots of crazy stuff like that. Who knows? My one real aim is definitely to be doing this shit when I'm 60. So I've got 9 years left of looking after myself at least. It's all good fun.
So you've written over 45 novels, you've had 2 movie adaptations made, and you've done a series of movie tie-ins, and a lot of your writing, although it's horror, it's quite action orientated. Do you find that being physically active makes it easier to write action scenes? You're more in tune with your own body. Do you find that translates into making those scenes in your writing easier to write?
Found that doing endurance sport has fed into my writing quite a lot, certainly lately. I've written a novel called The Hunt, which was a thriller, which is basically a thriller about me being chased through Snowdonia and shot at, which has never happened yet. And obviously Eden, my most recent novel, I've incorporated a lot of the endurance sport stuff into that. So it does help me write the action scenes a bit more, I guess. That old adage, write about what you know. I feed into it now and then. I try not to be too overt with it, really, because people get pissed off if every one of my characters is a marathon runner, obviously. Done. One. There's a hill. This is where we saw the fox. Not today. Look at that beautiful countryside. This is why I do it. And cake, of course.
If you think you can do something or think you can't, you're probably right. That seems to be a bit of a Tim Lebbon mantra. Do you apply that across all aspects of your life?
If you think you can do something or you think you can't, you're probably right. Yeah, that's a saying I came across when I was training for my first Ironman. It really struck a chord with me, and it has stuck with me ever since. Going up a muddy little hill here, and yeah, I try not to sort of say to myself, oh, God, I could never do that. I know my limits. I know I've got limits. But it's about mindset and determination, focus, I guess. If you think you can't do something, you probably won't, because you won't drive yourself to do it. Sometimes, if you think you can do something, it might turn out to be wrong, but at least you're giving it a go. Like running up that hill there. That's a nasty one. As a great man once said, run if you can, walk if you have to, crawl if you must, never give up. And it's all about the cake and coffee, which is what I am going home to have now. Cheers all.
Thanks for joining us today, Tim. It was great to talk about your book, and I really enjoyed going for the appropriately socially distanced run. Now, for those that don't know, this is actually Tim's first foray into non-fiction work, and I've got to say it was quite inspiring. It's very funny. Now, he hasn't written this for the podium contenders. It's not a training guide at all. It's not for the elite. It's for us, the average Joes, who dream of something better. Becoming fat and 40, it doesn't mean that it's all over. It's probably just the beginning. And Tim shows us that it can be done if you believe and if you want it. Now, the stories that he's given are entertaining, they are inspiring, and I really recommend that you give this book a read. It might just create that light bulb moment for you, and you might end up running around with the rest of us crazies and chafing in your lycra. You never know. Thanks for your time, and hope to see you again one day soon. Bye.